Anyone? What is this figure explaining? This figure is in the textbook also. You'll have seen. So Neha was there in the class yesterday. She can tell me that this figure is explaining what?
Protein hormone.
Protein hormone mechanism. Yes, correct. It is the diagram which is telling us that what are the steps involved in the mechanism of action of the proteinaceous hormones. So now I want everyone to write it in the notebook. Mechanism of action of protein hormone or proteinaceous hormone. Write down. Mechanism of action of protein hormone. Noted everyone? Raj noted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now don't write anything. Try to understand this figure. What is in front of you? Okay, this figure is already in the textbook. So you will draw it after understanding. Now, try to understand here that there are two types of hormones, proteinaceous hormones and the steroidal hormones, and both the different hormones have got a totally different mechanism of action. The proteinaceous hormones, they have their receptors in the cell membrane of the target organ. This should be clear to everyone that the proteinaceous hormones receptors are present in the cell membrane of the target organ. Now with the help of this example, they are explaining. This is the flow chart showed that FSH is a proteinaceous hormone, which is the follicle stimulating hormone. So this hormone molecule will bind to the receptor present in the cell membrane of the target organ. And the target organ of the FSH is the ovary. So the ovary cells will have the cell membrane, and that cell membrane has the receptors for this protein hormone. Now once it will bind with the receptor, you will find that the hormone receptor complex will be formed. So this is your first step. What is the first step? The hormone binds with the receptor present in the cell membrane and forms the hormone receptor complex. Now, once this complex is formed, it will be inducing the response 1. Now, under the effect or when the first response will be seen, then you will find the second response will be there. That response is generation of the second messenger. And what may be the second messenger? It can be the calcium ions or AMP, that is cyclic AMP. Then the next one is when this will be second messenger, when it will be generated, you'll find it will induce the biochemical responses in the cells. And as the biochemical responses will be seen, then the physiological responses will be shown by that organ. And what is the physiological response? In the case of ovary, that is the ovarian growth will be there and the ovarian follicles or Graafian follicles formation will take place. How many have understood? One by one you can say yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
Rumisha
ma'am.
understood. Okay, Devansh understood.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Raj.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now can you explain, Raj, the first step? What is the first step in this mechanism? Can you see my cursor? Sorry. Start, Raj. What is the first step? Raj, not understood.
Ma'am,
Yes, Raj left or what?
ma'am, can you please repeat the last step?
Last step. Okay, okay. I'll repeat. So I was repeating the whole thing. Try to understand step by step. And same thing you will write in the exam also. Nothing you have to write more than that. Okay, first thing, the receptors for the protein hormones are present in the cell membrane of the target organ. The hormone molecule binds with those receptors and forms the hormone receptor complex. After the formation of this complex, the response 1 is seen in the cell. After the response 1, the generation of the second messenger is there, and as the second messenger will be generated, then the biochemical responses will be seen in the cell. And after the biochemical responses, the physiological responses will be shown by the cells. And in the case of FSH, the FSH, the first is the response 1, then the second messenger will be the cyclic AMP or the calcium ion, which will bring about the biochemical responses. And then the physiological responses will be seen, which is the ovarian growth or the growth of the ovarian follicle or the Graafian follicle. Clear to you all, everyone?
Ma'am,
Yes, Vinisha.
ma'am, what is cyclic AMP?
It is adenine monophosphate. जैसा अपना ATP था ना, ADP था, तो ATP ट्राइफॉस्फेट है, फिर DP डाइफॉस्फेट है, ऐसी MP is मोनोफॉस्फेट. Okay, what is ATP?
Yes, ma'am.
What is ATP?
Adenosine triphosphate.
हाँ, एडिनोसिन ट्राइफॉस्फेट. यहाँ पर ये क्या हो जाएगा? एडिनोसिन मोनोफॉस्फेट. What is AMP? What is AMP?
Adenosine
Adenosine
monophosphate.
monophosphate.
हाँ, एडिनोसिन मोनोफॉस्फेट. Okay, done now. Everyone understood this whole mechanism? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All of
Yes,
you
ma'am.
all,
Yes, ma'am.
Devamshi, you'll be able to write in this way in your own words.
Yes, ma'am.
So what I want that everyone draw the diagram first in your notebook, and below your diagram only you write down its mechanism in your own words. Everyone will do that work. Barbie, it will be done. Barbie can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I'll take up the next. So you can write down the next one, that is the mechanism of action of steroidal hormone. Which one we are doing now? The steroidal hormone. Is it clear to you? Figure is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now this is the figure which is telling us that how the steroidal hormone action will take place in the cells of the target organ. Now the first step. अब यहाँ पर आप देखो that you are not seeing any receptor in this cell membrane. This is the cell membrane of the uterus. Is it clear? This is the cell membrane of the uterine cells. Uterine cell means the cells of the uterus. Okay, and they have taken the example of the hormone estrogen. Which one we have taken? estrogen. So estrogen is the steroidal hormone. Now you can see here in the figure no receptors present in this case for the steroidal hormone. So the hormone molecule will diffuse through the cell membrane of the target organ and it will reach the nuclear membrane. Can you see here? This is the nuclear membrane. Now, after this, we'll find the hormone molecule will diffuse through the nuclear membrane also. And the receptors for this steroidal hormone is present in the nucleoplasm. Where is it present? Where is it present?
Nucleoplasm.
Nucleoplasm.
हाँ, in the nucleoplasm. उसका रिसेप्टर कहाँ प्रेजेंट था प्रोटीन हार्मोन का?
Cell membrane.
हाँ, सेल मेम्ब्रेन में प्रेजेंट था. But for the steroid hormone, where the receptors will be present?
Nucleoplasm.
In the nucleoplasm. So what will happen? The hormone molecule will diffuse through the cell membrane, come into the cytoplasm, then it will diffuse through the nuclear membrane and reach the nucleoplasm. And there it will get the receptor. So that hormone molecule will bind with that receptor molecule and it will form the receptor hormone complex. What will be formed? Speak up, Devanshi. What will be formed? The first step is Devanshi. What is the first step? Neha, speak up.
Ma'am, first step is that the hormone diffuses through the uterine cell membrane,
Okay.
and then it pass through the no uh, nuclear membrane.
Huh?
Then it goes into the nucleoplasm where the receptors are present to form the hormone receptor complex.
Okay. Understood. So first step is the formation of the receptor hormone complex. In the protein hormones, sorry, the receptor hormone complex is formed in the cell membrane itself. But here the receptor hormone complex will be formed in the nucleoplasm. Now once this complex will be formed, it will be bringing about the changes in this genome. Genome is the genetic material. What is genome, students? Bhardi, what is genome?
Genetic material.
Genetic material. The total genetic material of a cell. We call it as a genome. And what is the genetic material of a cell? Yes, Rumisha?
DNA.
DNA. Remember, the cell genetic material is the DNA. जो total DNA present रहता है न्यूक्लियस के अंदर उसी को अपन जीनोम बोलते हैं. So that DNA, it will bring about the effect, it will affect the DNA and now the DNA will start what? It will start forming the mRNA. On the DNA template, टेम्पलेट मतलब एक स्ट्रैंड, ये दोनों स्ट्रैंड रहते हैं डीएनए में, ये सेपरेट होंगे और एक स्ट्रैंड के ऊपर फिर एमआरएनए बनना स्टार्ट होगा. So that process of formation of mRNA, we call it as transcription. What is it known as?
Transcription.
Transcription. So now try to understand. First, the receptor hormone complex formed in the nucleoplasm. It will induce the changes in the DNA molecule. Now the DNA molecule will do what? It will transcribe the mRNA. Okay, now this mRNA will move out of the nucleus. Now try to understand the picture. Your figure is not showing that. But you should understand that mRNA, once formed inside the nucleus, it will move out through the nuclear membrane and will come into the cytoplasm. Okay, and in the cytoplasm, the ribosomes will be there. So this mRNA, the name is only messenger RNA. What is the name of this? mRNA means what?
Messenger
Messenger.
Messenger RNA. Okay, so it will take the message from the DNA, come out of the nucleus into the cytoplasm and that information will be given to the ribosomes. Okay, and what is the function of the ribosome? Anyone quickly, what is the function of ribosome?
Protein synthesis.
Very good. Protein synthesis. So that information which it has brought from the DNA or the genome has been given to the ribosomes, and now ribosomes will start synthesizing proteins. Okay, ribosomes will make the proteins on the basis of the information which is coded in the mRNA. अब जो प्रोटीन बन जाएगा, now what will happen? That protein will bring about the physiological response. And what is that physiological response? That is tissue growth and differentiation. And you know that uterus, last year you have studied that the uterus wall gets thickened. When it gets thickened, from that day 1 to the 14th day, there is a thickening of the uterine wall. Okay, and what is that innermost wall of the uterus known as? Speak up.
Epidermis.
नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं. Think. We were discussing in this chapter also before. What is the inner lining of the that uterus called? Anyone?
Endothelium.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, एंडो तो सही आया, आगे का क्या है?
Endometrium.
Very good. It is endometrium. Okay, so endometrium formation will take place. Is it clear? So that is only tissue growth and differentiation. So uterus wall means the uterus will prepare itself for receiving the fertilized ovum. Followed, एंडोमेट्रियम के लिए थिक होने के लिए वो सारा इफेक्ट किसके वजह से होता है? ईस्ट्रोजन की वजह से. So how the estrogen is doing that work? It is guiding these proteins, and the protein formed, they will bring about the changes in the wall of the uterus. Means fast the tissue growth will take place, differentiation will take place, and 3 layers will be formed, जिसमें से innermost layer you all have studied just now. It is endometrium. It is, याद रखना 3 लेयर्स होते हैं, पेरीमेट्रियम, मायोमेट्रियम एंड एंडोमेट्रियम. ओके, तो सबसे अंदर का लेयर जो जिसके साथ अटैच होगा the fertilized ovum, that is only known as the endometrium, and we have discussed that it is highly vascularized. Endometrium is
Highly
what is
vascularized.
the meaning of highly vascularized?
And it is full of blood vessels.
It is richly supplied with the blood vessels. So how many students have understood this mechanism? Who will repeat the process? Barbie, can you repeat all the steps? Speak up. Not saying, see. Who will explain? Who is ready to explain? Rumisha?
Yes, ma'am.
So try then. Start from the beginning.
Uh, first, first the hormone diffuses through the cell membrane and comes to the nuclear membrane, and then passes through and come to the nucleus, nucleoplasm,
Correct?
and then binds with the receptors present in nucleoplasm and form receptor hormone complex.
Very good.
And then genomes, and then
So the complex will do what? What the complex is doing further? It will induce the genome of the cell to transcribe mRNA. What you have to say, Harumisha?
it will
Induce.
It will induce genome to transcribe mRNA.
Then what will happen?
Uh, then mRNA will send
Huh?
messenger. RNA will come to the from nucleus come to the
Huh?
cytoplasm
Huh?
and then transfer the information and then give it then it
Huh?
come to the ribosomes and
Huh?
synthesis of protein will take place which lead to the physiological responses.
Very good. Okay, understood all of y'all. Now someone else should also say. Shravani will say now.
Ma'am, the hormone diffuses with the uterine cell membrane.
Which hormone? You should say. Clarify.
Estrogen, estrogen,
Estrogen, or you should say steroid hormone. For example, estrogen.
steroid hormone with
Huh?
uterine cell membrane diffuses.
Huh?
Then it will come to the nucleoplasm.
Huh?
Then the hormone will
Huh?
diffuse with a receptor to form hormone receptor
Diffuse.
complex.
Bind with. What you have to
Huh,
say?
bind,
Binds with. Huh?
bind with receptors to form hormone receptor complex.
Correct.
Then it will include with genome.
It will guide the genome.
It will guide
Or
the.
you can say that it will induce the genome of the cell to transcribe the mRNA.
It will include the genome and
Huh?
transcribe mRNA.
Okay.
Then it will the mRNA will go to the ribosome to synthesize proteins.
Huh?
Then it will physiological responses,
Proteins will bring about the physiological responses. And what are those physiological responses?
tissue growth and differentiation.
The tissue growth, that is the tissue growth of the uterine wall, and the differentiation will take place. यहाँ differentiation का मतलब समझ में आ रहा है? What is the meaning of differentiation in this case? Anyone? Just now I told you.
Division of cells.
डिवीजन ऑफ सेल्स, तो डिवीजन ऑफ सेल्स अब यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है फिजियोलॉजी में अपन बोले तो क्या I told you just now ना that three different layers will be formed. What will happen? टिश्यू ग्रो होगा और वो डिफरेंशिएट होगा कितने लेयर्स में? हाउ मेनी लेयर्स?
3 layers.
3 layers of the uterus. Okay, inner 3 linings will be there, and that innermost lining is which one? जो आप last year भी पढ़े हैं. What is that?
Endometrium.
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 So it is perimetrium, myometrium and endometrium. ओके, तो सबसे बाहर वाला एक पेरीमेट्रियम, फिर बीच में एक लेयर बन जाएगा, फिर इनरमोस्ट एंडोमेट्रियम विल बी देयर. So that way 3 different layers will get differentiated after the tissue growth. Very clear to all or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now this way we have completed with what?
Chapter chemical coordination and integration.
Chapter as well as which topic?
Mechanism of
Mechanism
hormone.
of hormone action.
Mechanism of hormone action. So what are the 2 different mechanisms? One is the different mechanism shown by which type of hormone?
Proteinaceous.
Proteinaceous.
Yes, hormones. Okay, and the other one?
Steroidal.
Steroidal.
Steroidal hormone. Okay. Now, who can tell me quickly the first difference between these 2 different hormones in their mechanism? जल्दी से बोलो बस 2 मिनट में, then we'll end up the class. It is 48
Ma'am,
now.
may I?
Yes, Rumisha.
In proteinaceous hormone, the cell receptors are present on the cell wall, cell
Very good.
membrane are present
हाँ,
in the cell membrane,
हाँ,
and in steroidals, and in steroidal, they are
हाँ,
the cell receptors are present in nucleoplasm.
very good. Then second difference, who will tell? Neha, can you try the second difference?
Um,
Huh?
Ma'am, maybe in the physiological response.
What is that?
Ma'am, in the proteinaceous one, it leads to ovarian growth, for example, for the physiological response, but in the steroidal hormones case, it leads to tissue growth and differentiation.
अच्छा, दैट इज द फाइनल वन. ओके. और कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट जो नजर आ रहा है अपन को फिगर में? Anyone? हाँ, can you think further? In this, na, the genome is affected. Is the protein hormone affecting the genome of the cell?
No, ma'am.
So that you have to say. The receptor hormone complex does not affect the genome. But in this case, the receptor hormone complex is entering into the nucleoplasm and it is inducing the genome to make the to transcribe the mRNA. Is it clear? Okay, and then
Yes, ma'am.
mRNA will go out and then it will be inducing the specific type of the protein formation. Okay, we call this process as translation. mRNA will translate the specific type of proteins. Done. Okay, so now we have completed with the chapter. I'll end up this your slide sharing. Okay, and then what is your work? You will be revising this whole chapter, and if you don't understand anything, then what you will be doing?
Asking doubts.
You'll ask in the next period. Okay, is it very clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll stop the recording.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll stop your recording.